Millions of South Africans rely on their social grants being paid out on time, and for the most part, this does happen despite problems in the past. Now, what's being called a glitch appears to have affected thousands of social grant recipients. Joining us is South African Social Security Agency spokesperson, Paseka Letsatsi. Hi, Paseka. Welcome to 702.
Good morning, Ray, and compliments of the new season.
And to you as well. All right, first of all, take us through how do recipients now get their money? I know the whole system changed. You used to have your SASSA card.
No, definitely, and I think I might just clarify that quickly, Ray. It's not necessarily a technical glitch. It's a deliberate act from us as SASSA that we have suspended those affected individuals. The number is 150,000. The reason why they were suspended is because we have picked up some fraudulent activities taking place in those particular accounts. In this instance, you would find that the ID number does not correspond with the account number. And what we simply do, we do verification process every month just to check that if the money is going to the correct person. The only thing that we would want to do is to appeal to our beneficiaries that if you change your address, if you change your cell number, please alert the South African Social Security Agency so that we know where exactly you are. We can just ask you that you come and do the live verification process at the SASSA office.
Yeah, so you'd have to go into an office then, am I right?
Definitely, you have to go into the office just to verify that indeed this person is you. What we have picked up, Ray, is that I won't mention the name of the bank here, that in some month, you just have the numbers of people opening accounts in one bank skyrocketing. And when we made the investigations, we find that it is people's identities which were stolen and people open a bank account. It's disheartening that an old woman would go to the bank month end, put the card, and there is no money. When they make an investigation, they are told that they have withdrawn the money. So we do this in the interest of making sure that we kept the fraudulent activities taking place to the individuals.
Gosh, that's good. It's good that you're doing it. I want to go back to my original question. I mean, take us through how recipients get their money, because there was the SASSA card, but now it's bank cards. You changed systems, didn't you?
We have not. The SASSA card is still operating.
Okay.
But what we're basically saying is that individuals have the right to choose the method of payment. If you are not happy with one bank, it is within your right to choose where you want to get your money. But we also said the SASSA card, you don't necessarily are compelled to get your money from the post office or whatever. You can transact because it operates within the national payment system. So you can transact using that card anywhere, like in the retail. You can go to ShopRite, you can go to Boxer or whatsoever to make sure that you make a transaction. But we also wanted to appeal to beneficiaries that if possible, please do not withdraw all your money at once, because we have picked up that when people withdraw their money, there are those who are targeted and they get robbed of their money every month.
Yeah, it would be a better system, though, if everybody did have a bank card and that you didn't have to go to a post office. You didn't have to stand in a queue, because you're right in what you say. That's when you are targeted. And I've been via the post office in my area, and the queue is long, and you see people walking out and you think, if I was a criminal, I would go for that person.
No, definitely. And I think they study that a lot. And I'm sure you might have picked up that there's an increase in cash in transit heist, especially during the pay dates. People get killed and so forth. That's why we said, if you don't need the money, please do not withdraw it. Please don't go and queue. You can use that card to get whatever that you want to do. We're also trying to make sure that there's less transport of money up and down, because if there's a heist, it inconveniences the individual. Because it means we must order the money, we must do all administrative processes. People must be told that they must go back home and come get their money within 2 days. It is an inconvenience. So we are actually appealing to the beneficiaries that use the SASSA cards which we have to make transactions, but if possible, don't withdraw all your money.
Yeah. But Seka, it's concerning. 150,000 questions, 150,000 people. When you open up a bank account, and I know the banks perhaps can explain this better because you're not the bank, but it's very concerning that this is happening. Somebody can open up a bank account and clone, say, Ray or Paseka and take our money. It seems very easy to do.
No, it is for them to it is very easy for them to do such activities. Hence, our fraud management unit identified this bank in particular. I just explained earlier on, Ray, that I don't want to mention the name of the bank. They identified that suddenly everybody opened the bank account here, but it was discovered that they made it easy. They went there, opened bulk accounts. They go and withdraw, and when a beneficiary goes and withdraw their money is not there because the identity has been stolen. So we have picked up that sometimes the ID number does not correspond with the account.
Yeah.
We basically reject it without thinking twice. We call you. We say, please come and verify indeed if this person is you. In some instances, when we correspond to people, they don't respond. A person does not withdraw their money for 6 months. Obviously, they are trying to check if indeed we are after them or not. In some instances, people do come to the office. Hence, I want to appeal. I want to say this, if you give me a chance, Ray, to say, please, if you get a letter from SASSA or if you move, because we understand, Ray, that we deal with the most vulnerable sector of our society. We may have floods in the informal settlement and people are compelled or forced to move in an area. Please make sure that you come to the office and inform us that the address has changed. If your cell phone gets stolen and you have a new cell number, please inform us that the cell number has changed, because if you don't do that, we keep on taking the letter to an address which does not exist. And unfortunately, if we do that and you don't respond, we are compelled.
In saying that, and it's good that you do that, but there has been quite a bit of criticism from civil rights organizations about the manner, the approach of suspending these accounts.
We know that there will be a consent, and we know that there'll be people who are inconvenienced. But I can assure you, Ray, that all that we do in the interest of making sure that we protect our beneficiaries. If everybody can work with us, help us to make sure that we deal with the fraudsters. I'm sure, Ray, you don't want to wake up tomorrow and you read the headlines that SASSA has paid billions to ghost beneficiaries. Yeah,
to fraudsters. Paseka Letsatsi, thank you so much. SASSA spokesperson. Somebody who's listening to this conversation is Elizabeth Raiters, who's the deputy chairperson at Pay the Grants. Elizabeth, you heard what Paseka had to say. Are you happy with that explanation?
Good morning, Ray, and good morning to all the listeners. No, unfortunately, I'm not happy with what he just said, because I do work with beneficiaries on a daily basis. I've also gone out with beneficiaries to my local SASSA office, and if you had to see the mess that's created, the mess was totally unbelievable. These beneficiaries were not notified at all that their grants will be suspended. They just woke up the Friday morning, went to the bank like usual, and found that there was no money in their accounts. Now, I think it is totally not right what SASSA did, and it's heartbreaking, as these mothers are depending on that money to buy stationery for the kids going back to school. So why could SASSA not let all these months, like they say they give the beneficiary 6 months, they had all these months to notify the beneficiaries, and not one beneficiary was notified that the grant was suspended.
All right, Elizabeth.
All right.
I tell you what we're going to do. Paseka, you still with us. Paseka Letsatsi, you heard people were not notified. Not good enough.
No, not necessarily. I think we would want to work with all the NGOs just to make sure that the process is done and is done properly. As much as we don't want beneficiaries to go to bed hungry. We also don't want to find ourselves breaking the law and paying ghost beneficiaries.
But were they notified? I think that's what Elizabeth is saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, is that please work with us. When we also appeal, I think I did mention earlier that we are appealing to our beneficiaries that if there is a change in terms of address, there is a change in terms of the self. We know that
you did, but how do you notify them? How do you what's the modus operandi? How do you do this?
We have to make sure that we notify them by post. People have to get letters that they must come and do the verification process. We also have an option of informing beneficiaries through the cell phone because we've got the contact details. However, we have picked up that when we communicate with an SMS to a beneficiary, that people who take our messages, right at the bottom, when they send exactly the message that we have sent to you as a beneficiary. But at the bottom, there's a link there which they put and say you must put your ID number and your PIN. And once a beneficiary do that, the money is gone. But I want to say that we are extending the hand to the Pay the Grants to make sure that we work together with all the NGOs so that we make sure that the process is as less painful as possible.
All right. Elizabeth, does that work for you? Pay the grants?
We don't mind working with SASSA as long as it's in the best interest of these beneficiaries. I just want to give Mr. Paseka an example of what I found out at the SASSA office being there were the beneficiaries. First of all, the SASSA offices are understaffed and they cannot handle the influx of these new cases because they do not have the staff to handle them. These beneficiaries have to go back to submit their papers, but there is no one to assist them in the SASSA offices as they are already fully booked for the days when they're supposed to deal with the new applications for CSG grants, which I also think is not a good idea and it's not good at all. Because now how are these beneficiaries going to get any assistance because it is in the thousands of beneficiaries that need this assistance.
Okay.
Second, Mr. Paseka, I went to the beneficiary where all the details was correct. Her address was correct. Her ID number was correct. Her initials was correct. There was no problem at all. They sit with a list with codes, and on that code, next to the code, is the reason why the grant was suspended. And her said, FICA compliant failed.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
The beneficiary,
Elizabeth, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you back to our producers and we're going to get you together with Paseka Letsatsi and let's sort out these issues because it sounds like it's an issue here and an issue there and also as well officers that aren't working. We'll put the two of you together and let's take it from there. And then what we'll do tomorrow, we'll have a report back with our producer Clive Moahi to see if some of these issues have been solved. So that's Elizabeth Raiters, Deputy Chair at Pay the Grants and also SASSA spokesperson Paseka Letsatsi. Let's work together and let's work this out.